Today we were going to talk about a day in the life of a positive ET.
Right.
We'll try to just build their day, not maybe follow one person, but just how their existence is for a day. Let people see how they live.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we're kind of trying to paint a picture for people, too, so they can see how their existence is and how they really differ from some of the more negative alien species.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and because they're on a craft, their existence is different than ours on Earth. You know, they have different threats, different jobs.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of their craft and being different than being on Earth, they recycle everything, and they create enough food and energy to run their whole ship. They're totally self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
We can learn a thing or two from that.
Yes, and I don't think, as far as I know, they don't throw any waste out into space.
Oh, yeah.
No,
They were a little bit annoyed that one time we had an experiment on one of the space station where they ejected some fluid or whatever to see what would happen. They said, we don't appreciate polluting our space like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they recycle everything. Any craft that gets out of date, they don't have in a museum. They take it apart, reuse it, and make what they need.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I would just like to say, too, there was on one occasion someone asked me, what's it like up there? And that was really hard for me to kind of sum up at the time briefly, but I did reply back to her and I said it's more peaceful and loving there than what it is here on Earth right now at this time, and that there is a much concerted effort on their behalf to work in cooperation with one another. They do not have the every man for himself mindset as much as we do here on planet Earth at this time. They do have their disagreements because they're individuals with differing opinions. However, they respect one another and they are able to say, let us agree to disagree. Their peaceful, cooperative way of life does not just happen as they work at it continually, which this includes a daily regimen of prayer and meditation, along with honoring the being that they call Creator, because their God is our God, and they recognize Him as being the creator of all life.
And I think it was Lee who told us their day begins and ends with meditation, and they gave us kind of a description of what they call meditation. They say prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening, quieting the mind. They say in meditation you can bring yourself right to the feet of the Creator. Mm-hmm. You can be right there with Him.
Yeah, they said you don't need a middleman, you don't need a channeler, you don't need anyone else, because you can go directly to Him. And as you said, you can be right at His feet.
Yeah, we humans tend to make things more complicated than they are. And we don't need the middleman, the priest, the rabbi, the pastor, the imam. We need a sincere heart. And then we'll be at the Creator's feet, listening. It's kind of hard for a lot of people.
Well,
and I like how they recognize Christ as the Son of God. He's a very special individual, created to do a specific task, and that is to show love.
they call Him the essence of God. And just listening to them describe how it is to be in His presence is just amazing. They talk about how peaceful and loving it is just to be in His presence. And then the captain of the peace ship, Eric, talks about that man, when he speaks. I just love the way he said that. When he speaks, it's like he's speaking to everyone individually. And I think it was Mon said she snuck in and looked around the corner at a meeting that Jesus was talking. And there were many people from many different areas of the universe, and there was absolutely no translation equipment needed because he could speak the language of everybody.
He speaks soul to soul.
Yeah. It's just amazing. So I love hearing them talk about and describing how it is to be in his presence.
Yeah. Some people would say he speaks heart to heart. I think soul to soul. There's no room for misunderstanding when he speaks.
He's amazing. He's the most loving being you can imagine, that I can't even put into words. And I think I've heard different people say, if you are in his presence, you find yourself on your knees without even realizing that you are on your knees. But he will tell you to get up. You are my fellow servant. And one other thing I'd like to say about him is that he is in body right now.
Bodily form?
He's in bodily form, and his mission is not yet complete. He's not done yet.
Which means he's coming back.
He's coming back.
Right. And here's, I don't know if this is jumping the gun. I won't say it.
Go ahead and say it.
It was just, it had to do with the rapture. That might be jumping the gun. The rapture, the positive aliens call it an evacuation.
Mm-hmm.
Should it become necessary?
Right.
And what I thought about that, and I think they have more faith in us than we have in ourselves. They said nothing is in stone. Every single person can make a difference, can change the world, can change first of all, their lives, and then the world. If everybody starts to make the change, a positive change, raise their spiritual levels, this cataclysm, evacuation to get off the planet wouldn't be necessary. So I like the fact that they do have, well, maybe they know in depth God can work miracles through people if people connect with him. So they have a lot of faith in people that they can change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're hoping. That's why they're here.
Right. Well, and that's why they've shared their messages now, and in the past they have shared their messages as well.
And I think what is very interesting is when they're sharing the message today, later, after they share them, they're doing something else. They have many jobs. Everybody is doing several different tasks. And they don't have time to wait for us to, hey, we want to talk with you. I've heard that kind of foolishness from some people who claim to be in contact with extraterrestrials, and any time I need them, I can call them. No. It don't work that way.
The good guys are really busy. So yes. I don't know who these other people are.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I always try to caution people, too, because they get so excited, and oh my goodness, and I want to see something, and I want to have something happen, and I'm like, just be careful. Be cautious of what you ask for, because the positive beings are not going to be the ones that are going to come to your beck and call when you wish for something like that to happen. But anyways, getting back to the peace ship is a place with a lot of hustle and bustle, because it is a central meeting place for many ships that come and go. And it is also a central meeting ground for many alien species, representing many different planets, because there is a concerted effort right now between all of these beings for the purpose of monitoring our planet right now at this time.
Well, it's also a place where you have security, because the peace ship is an intergalactic meeting space where all races can come and share. But some are not there for the good of mankind. They're trying to find out what's going on, and they have people that can scan them. A person coming in, they also have a soul computer. They have layers of security where they try to stop negative from coming in.
So in other words, these people who are not in it for the betterment of mankind, they don't stay long.
They don't stay long.
They get escorted out.
Well, they may come on board the peace ship if they're not there to sabotage something. Because there are people in space that are bad, just like there are on Earth.
Well, and there are several different levels of security, like Russ said, and I don't think there's been that many breaches. And I think that the security is even more sophisticated than it used to be years ago. So there's been a few breaches in the past. I don't know about now. But as Russ said, if you are not of good intent, the peace ship is no place for you, and you are escorted out swiftly.
You were talking about the various numbers and different varieties of people coming on board. I want to just say with the peace ship, with these different varieties of people, the peace ship has the ability, equipment to make different atmospheres for breathing for these different beings. That's one of the other self-contained things. Another thing that makes it kind of a universal place is that it can host people, anybody who comes in there, whatever breathing atmosphere you need.
That atmosphere machine is 3 miles high. And being a guy, that kind of fascinates me. My recollections are more on looking at the docking area and seeing the various levels in the docking area, craft moving in and out, and I call them the people movers, because when a craft 40 miles in diameter, if you walked across it, it would take you almost 2 days to walk across it. So they have all different kinds of people movers, like we do on Earth. We have motorcycles all the way up to buses.
Well, and I'm not sure if the people understand yet what all the coordination of efforts and what all these coming and goings and what all the meetings are in regard to, is because our planet is of special concern to them right now because of our current warring situations and our nuclear weapon capabilities and our continued decisions to be unkind to one another. And so they are monitoring this planet and just out there waiting to see.
Because what happens on this planet affects the rest of the universe.
Right.
It's like a wave.
But they're also here to aid and assist.
Their days end with unwinding. After all the stress of their job, they can go walking in a park, dangle their feet in the stream, or they can
go on maybe the holodeck. I recall playing a sport up there, or I think, Kathy, you have witnessed the beautiful starry sky through some of the...
in the holodeck, yes.
Was it holodeck? Okay.
Yep, it was in the holodeck.
Okay.
And Sandy recalls ice skating.
So there's lots of ways to unwind. And then they have probably, have after work they have a nice meal, which they don't eat meat.
They grow their food for the crew on the peace ship. It's all grown. It's all organic. So, and I think of it as a food court at the mall, because you have people from different galaxies who have different dietary needs, and these are all met. And then, they do their meditation, and as they get ready for bed, they take their uniform off and they hang it in their closet, which
is like a vibration, I think, that cleans the uniform. But the importance of the meditation in particular for the captain is because the ship is run telepathically.
75%. 75% of the ship is run physically, but 25% of the ship is run telepathically by the captain, and it's run manually 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the captain is the only one who can override all commands. But that cleaning apparatus, it cleans their body. They get their bodies cleaned and their clothes are cleaned through a sonic sound wave or vibration. So, like Russ was talking about earlier, they don't have a lot of time for dilly-dallying. So things are just done quickly. I mean, you put the thing in, your body's cleaned, your clothes are cleaned. They don't have, put the coins in the laundromat and go down to the laundromat. They are just, it's pretty efficient way to run things.
And they don't have a sunset like we do. They can't hear the rain on their roof like we do.
But they did say the sun is always shining up there.
Oh, yes.
Because there's no clouds.
And I think they could probably recreate that environment in the holodeck if they felt the desire to do so.
And I just wanted to say that they work 3 months on and 3 months off. And they have the ability to go home to their home planet. When you were talking about sunsets and things, they probably would want to have their own environment to relax and regenerate before they come back.
And we never did ask what was the total number of crew on board the ship. But I just think, the Peace ship is 38 miles high, 40 miles in diameter. One piece of equipment is 3 miles high. You have to have a pretty good maintenance crew to keep things running.
And there's a lot of people behind the scenes, and there are a lot of people in the meetings, conducting meetings, giving the messages, but they all are here
to help us,
to help humanity, and they get their direction through their meditation, through their focus and their faith from the Creator. And from their Commander-in-Chief, who is Jesus Christ.
That's a good place to end.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
Amen.